Hey guys, thanks for coming back to my channel and my video. I know it's been a little bit while. I know it's been a little while since I uploaded something, and there's two reasons for that. The first one is I am sick right now. The second one is I got sick in the Philippines. So I was gone on a trip to the Philippines. I guess literally the end of August for about 10 days or so. I was meeting up with my girlfriend, Jessica, who is the reason why a lot of you are here on the channel, because she advertises my channel and my videos a lot. And actually, while there, we got engaged. So I proposed to her after speaking to her two wonderful parents, and they were okay with me doing that. They were accepting of it, so I proposed to her and she accepted, so we are now engaged. So that's sort of the news on my end. In this video today, I wanted to talk just a bit about, I guess, the trip and sort of what it was like, and then my experience actually seeing passport bros in, like, the flesh, I guess, in the other country. It was a little surreal for me, because we do spend a lot of time talking about it in videos and things and on the internet, and then seeing it in person it was just kind of odd, I guess. Okay, so firstly, just on my trip, I don't know how many people have made these long trips before. I've done it. Like, I've been to Singapore, Malaysia, and Japan before, but this is like 10 years ago, so I hadn't really done a long trip like this long in a while. Overall, flights and stuff were fine, but going through TSA, US security, whatever, is like, sucks ass. I swear, they are the rudest, at least my experience anyways, they were the rudest, most, like, non-communicative, like, uppity, just like, you should know what to do, we shouldn't have to tell you anything. It was so stupid. I was in, what was it, San Francisco? Yeah, San Francisco, and I had to go from one security area to another, and so I had to go through the security checkpoint again, which didn't realize until it was literally 40 minutes before my flight, but whatever. So I have to go through again. They don't tell me anything when I go up there to, like, scan my passport, where to stand, if I need to take off my shoes or anything, like, where do I put my luggage? Do they push my luggage through the scanner or nothing? They say nothing. They communicate nothing. And when I do not perform the activities exactly how they wanted it, they were so angry. They were like, what are you doing? You should be doing this. And I'm like, I walked up here, like, nobody said anything. They just stood and looked at me. Like, at the passport scanner, just stood and looked at me. And then he's just like waiting for me, and I'm looking at him, and he doesn't say anything, and he's like, passport! I'm like, okay, sure, so give him my passport, like, because I didn't hand it to him right away. It's just standing there, he didn't say anything. So he says it rudely, and then he's like, stand right here. Oh, shit. He's like, stand right here in front of the passport scanning machine. I'm like, okay, because I was standing to the side when I handed it to him, so whatever, I do that. He's like giving me attitude the whole time. He's like, okay, go ahead, whatever, fine. Go to get my luggage through. Nobody tells anything. Do I put my luggage? Do I push it through myself? Do I just leave it on the conveyor? Do they push it? Do I need to take my shoes off? Nobody says anything. They just stand. There's like 4 of them. And there's like literally no other passengers there. There was nobody else. I was the only person going through, because I think it was like 2 o'clock in the morning or some ridiculous time. Like 1 o'clock in the morning. Because these flights, like where you go over the Pacific or whatever, like these long flights, generally over the night, I guess. They don't tell me anything. So then I don't take my shoes off. They're like, shoes? I'm like, okay, so I take my shoes. And they're like, push your stuff through. I'm like, okay, I push my stuff through. It's like, nobody says anything. It's just, I couldn't believe it. Like, when I'm doing any sort of security check in Canada, in Philippines, in Taiwan, whatever, they can't even speak English properly. They communicate with you to the best of their ability to tell you what to do. But in the States, no, there's just no communication. It's just like, what the frig, man? Those people must hate their jobs. Like, I don't know what to say. Okay, so anyways, I get to Philippines. It's like I went through Taiwan, that was fine. Get to Philippines, it's like I tried to accustom my body to the time zone by like sleeping on the plane when they would be sleeping in Philippines, like when it was their nighttime. So I tried to do that. Kind of didn't have too much jet lag. Get there, obviously meet her at the airport, which was nice. She bought me flowers. I don't know why she bought me flowers, since I'm a guy, but I was like, okay, this is a little awkward, but thank you. We've been talking online or whatever, like 4 months-ish, 4 or 5 months. And then I had booked this trip to go visit, so it was her first time being together in person. I think she's told some people we were already married, and she said husband. And it's because we would joke to each other that we are husband and wife already, but we're not. So she could explain this to her people who are going to ask questions in this video. Anyways, so get there. It's all great. We get along really well. She's a great woman, and I'm very, very happy that we met and that I went there and we got together. And that's why I proposed to her and we got engaged, because I was like, this is a great person. This is a great woman, and I think we fit very well together. So I wanted to record a video with her when I was there, so we posted on the channel. However, I got sick by like, I don't know, shoot, like day 3 or 4 of me being there, and I was just like, I just constantly nose running, and then it was just so I kind of was sick for the second half of my trip, so we didn't record anything. So we will eventually record a video. She is coming here to Canada. We're working through the visa application stuff now, which is freaking crazy, I'll say that. We've already spent 5 hours on it, and we're like, I gotta go to the Philippines consulate and get some notarized stamp on like the support application and shit, because for whatever reason they want you to have all this money when you come to the country, because they want you to be able to support yourself. Like, she should have all this money, and then you think about how much money they earn in the Philippines. Like, literally they're earning like $1.50, sorry, not $1.50, $1.50, maybe $2, $2.50 an hour there. But they're supposed to have like $12,000 or at least roughly $2,300 a month. And I'm like, well, you should, if you're gonna come for 6 months, so it's like $12,000, right? So you should have all this money. Like, how can anybody save up that amount of money? It doesn't make sense. Like, when you make $1.50, $2 an hour, it's like, what? Like, you would have to save for 5-10 years, and they'd be like, yeah, I can go now. So there's all this like support documentation I have to fill out to tell them like, hey guys, don't worry, when she comes here I'll be paying for everything, which I would have did anyways, so not really an issue. But it's like, they just want you to show, and then I gotta provide them documentation about my work and what I do and all my background, plus all her background, which is literally from age 18 to her current age. It's just every single thing that she did for work, school, blah blah blah. It's like deep dive, then knowing about her parents. I don't know if they need to know about her brother, but whatever. It was like at least her parents. And they keep asking the same things over and over again. It's like the same shit over and over again. They want you to repeat it in all these different forms. So we're just like, okay, is this where they try to catch you? And they're like, ah, here you said you're going to Niagara Falls, but in the other place you didn't say that. So that's sort of the process. Sorry, I realize I'm jumping around a bit here, but that's the process sort of for the visa thing. Hopefully it'll work out. We're trying to just do it ourselves. As far as being in Philippines, what was it like? People seem friendly. I would say in terms of like food, I did like the food there a lot more. It just seemed, I don't know if the right word is like more natural, like fresher, I guess, like fresher food. Like the fruit was just fresher and tastier. Even like the chicken, like the meat just seemed like juicier, like more natural. I don't know, maybe because it's not factory farmed like a lot of our meat is here in North America, but that just seemed better. I did go to Jollibee there. Overall, that experience was good, except for the fact that in one of my pieces of chicken, there was a massive, my fried chicken, there was a massive hair in it. It was the last piece. And I pulled it out. It was like a massive piece. It was a piece of chicken with a massive hair, like covered in the batter, like the fried chicken batter. I was like, okay, you know, we're good. But before that, all the pieces of chicken we ate was very tender and juicy, like better than what I had here in Canada. So actually, I would bump it up a bit in sort of like taste. Wasn't as spicy though. It was less spicy, but juicier chicken. And then when I tried some more like pasta, I tried adobo, like chicken adobo. Actually, I didn't find chicken adobo that great. I found it kind of more salty and lacked flavor. I was kind of like, eh. But there was this pork sisig I had. I don't even know how to describe it, but if you're Filipino, you probably know what it is. I really like that. Apparently, that was really good. And then some of these different pasta dishes. In terms of foreigners, notice a lot of older foreigners there. It was 99% men. There was one woman I saw that was like clearly a foreigner, like a white woman. She was on the plane with me, and she was probably like 60 years old, something around that, like late 50s, somewhere in her 60s. After that, didn't see any other foreigner women. It was every single time I saw a foreigner, it was a man. And in some cases, it was a man picking up like a prostitute. I don't know what was going on. That was literally the first thing I saw when we went to Jollibee that night when I got in. There was literally like this older guy, maybe in his 50s, something like that, white guy, coming in to meet this girl who I'm going to assume is a prostitute just because she was literally dressed to the nines in this beautiful, elegant dress, whatever. And she's sitting in Jollibee. He comes in looking at his phone, looking at a picture of presumably her and being like, and goes up to her. It's like, oh, is this you? Is that you? And she's like, yeah, whatever. And they meet, they talk about what they're going to do for the rest of the night. Something like this. Like, hey, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? And she's like, let's go back to my, or he's like, let's go back to my place. Something like that. And they get on like a scooter, like this motorbike, and they like drive off. So they didn't even eat there. They just met up. And now, could be legit, but kind of getting vibes like prostitution. I don't know. Like, maybe it wasn't. A lot of older foreigners there. Seemed like the foreigners didn't really care about how they dressed or looked or anything. Like, I generally had like a nice shirt on or something like that. Like, I tried to be casual-ish or business casual and presentable. But it just seemed like other people like wearing flip-flops and like cut-off shirts and stuff. It was kind of weird. But they were generally with like a Filipino woman. Sometimes there was an older woman, like literally, like let's say the guy's like 50 years old. The woman was 50 years old, you know, basically like looking, right? So you were like, oh, okay, they're probably like married or whatever in a relationship. And sometimes it was the opposite, where it was like an older guy with a young girl. And sometimes the girl, like when I say young, like in their 20s. And sometimes the girl was like dressed up like she was going to a club or was at a club or something. And when I asked the locals there, they were like, oh, that's a bar girl. Is a bar girl. And they just they go to these bars to meet foreigners and like spend time with them and like, you know, get a good lifestyle. Like, I don't know whether I don't know if it's direct money like prostitution, but more like the way they were explaining it to me is that they hook up with you, then they have a good lifestyle, and, you know, whatever, they move into your condo or something, and you kind of provide for them, and so that's the beneficial relationships. How much that differs from a normal relationship, I don't know. Like, I wasn't privy, like, I didn't ask any of these people, like, what are they doing? So, is it just sort of like kind of hookup stuff, or is it more long-term? Your guess is as good as mine. There were some younger guys there, like, I would say in their 30s or late 20s. Bunch of black dudes that were, like, staying together. There were like groups of them, like groups of like black men, like 3-4 of them together. I saw it a few times. And they were just, I don't know, they were just like in the mall hanging out. I don't know what was going on there. Like, if they were trying to hook up and meet people, but they didn't seem to be with any women, but they were like kind of like clustered together for some reason. I guess they traveled together. People gave us kind of weird looks, so I would get looks from obviously the women, and it'd be like, oh, like you could tell they were like interested, like they'd be giving me looks like, oh yeah, like there is some like interest generally, or curiousness, maybe just being also curious. And then sometimes you would see like the guys looking at Jessica, and they would be giving her, well, at least when I looked anyways, they'd be giving her like a disapproving look or like an upset look. And I'm thinking, like, are you upset that she's with me? Like she's a race traitor or something? Like, I don't know. But whenever I talk to any guys or people there, like, you know, take me around on a taxi or a tricycle, which is tricycles, like their motorbike with like a sidecar, basically. They were always nice. Everybody was nice to me, very polite. They always call me boss. I don't know. Very common. They're like, hi, boss. Yes, boss. I'm like, okay. And one thing I will say about the Filipino people, they seem to really, at least it seems this way, they seem to really care about the poor people, I guess, or the less fortunate people, or the working people. Because even when we were eating food, like Jessica's parents would be like, hey, we should bring this food down to the guard, like the leftovers, or we should give some or whatever. And we would go and do that pretty much after every meal. We'd go give to the guard or the people working in the, it wasn't a condo, it was like a, sorry, it wasn't a hotel, it was like some condo place. So we would go down to the guard or to the people working there and be like, give them like whatever, the half a pizza we didn't eat or something, or whatever food we had, we'd just give them leftovers and stuff, and they were super thankful about it. So that was nice. It was interesting because they were the ones who recommended it. Generally, when I met these Filipino people, they never really wanted expensive things. They seemed to be a little more simple. Like they were just okay with simpler stuff, would be my impression. Now, clearly there's women there that I'm sure who want expensive stuff, but my impression right now was more simple stuff, you know, just keep it simple. And yeah, I just I like the climate. I did not like the poverty that I saw. So there was clearly some very, very poor people, and there was clearly some very, very rich people. So there seemed to be a bigger disparity than what we see here in North America between rich and poor. There was like poor people like living under a bridge, like in these shanty shack things. I was like, okay, like I don't know how people live like that, but they do. I noticed pretty much everything was fenced off, so it was kind of that's kind of interesting. I don't. To anybody who says like these password bros and stuff that they, you know, it's easier, or you know, they're cheap and don't have, you know, they don't have to have money or whatever, you will spend so much more money trying to do this than meeting somebody in your own country. It is way simpler to meet somebody in your own country and date them or whatever. This is way more complicated. I'm spending way more money than I would if I would have just met somebody here. The whole visa thing and everything is complicated. The whole traveling there is complicated. Like the whole not being with your partner, especially now that we're engaged. Like I'm back here, she's still there. That's hard. Like that we're just back to seeing each other online on video. So it's not easier, it's harder. So if you're somebody who wants to do this type of long distance thing, just know that it's going to be harder. It's not going to be easier, it's going to be harder. But you're probably going to get somebody who's more in tune with the values you want. That is the upside, because that's why I'm doing it. And when I met her and we hung out and, you know, we had talked online a lot, you know, every night. And when I met her, I was like, wow, like it would be very difficult to meet somebody with the same sort of mindset and values in North America, which is, you know, the man is the leader. Doesn't mean she doesn't have a say in anything, because she does. But just be that supportive, caring, loving person. Look after him, look after each other, that type of thing. You know, just very much like somebody you could see having kids with, and being able to look after you and work with you. Just somebody who's ready to have a family. Like somebody who wants a family. Like it just mother vibes. That's all I can say. It's just mother vibes. So it's different, you know. It's different because that's how they're raised over there. I know when I talked to her father and her mother, that's what they were telling me. They're like, this is how it is here. You know, we made sure to communicate to her that, you know, this is what you should be doing. And I mean, she even looks after her brother there and does those things for her, which to me does those things for him rather, which to me is great because she's showing that caring sort of motherly aspect in her life, even though obviously she's not married to this person or not dating this person. She's kind of like trained herself, I guess, in a way. So I appreciate that. I think that's great, and I applaud her parents for teaching her that and showing her that as an example. And so yeah, I am super excited for her to arrive, and then when she does, we will definitely be making videos together. I think you guys will love her. Definitely will. It'll be some fun videos when she's here because she has a great sense of humor, and I'm looking forward to having those conversations and reacting to things together. Probably gonna leave it there. I might have missed some things. I just feel like there's a lot of things to cover, but I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm just gonna leave it here. You guys can put questions down below if you have questions, comments, whatever. I'll try to answer them. Maybe I could do a response video or whatever, because I'm sure I've missed things. But I appreciate everyone for watching, and we'll see you again next time.